Okay, Brian, we're live
For the first time.
for our
This is
first time.
awesome. Yeah.
That's right. So we've decided, Brian and I, because we talk every single day, we've decided to start putting out some of our recordings and kind of some of our thoughts on how we view our company, who our company is, and start sharing that with our customers. So, being that this is our first one, Brian, do you want to just do a little introduction on who you are and give a little insight to that?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my name is Brian Paye, and probably some of you've got emails from me, actually, but I'm the CEO and founder of Ring Gear Pro. And in my other life, when I was younger, I was involved in the indigenous communities here in British Columbia and actually Yukon, Northwest Territories, and work with different bands and assisting them to get into businesses and set up governance structures and all those sorts of things. And Rain Gear Pro was something that came about because my brother was producing products, and he was putting those products into storefronts, and those storefront stores were selling his rain gear and his saw pants. And I thought way back when that it would be a good idea for me to do it online, of which I didn't realize that you just didn't put up a website and stuff started selling. So, hence, enters Keelan. Four
Right.
years later. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's me.
So my name's Keelan Clark. I've been with Ring Gear Pro, working with Brian for we're going into our fifth year. As Brian mentioned, he had a website up and thought you kind of just were able to sell rain gear or saw pants just by throwing a site up. And I initially came on to update the website because when I came on, it looked like it was a website from the early 2000s. It was a little rustic to say the least. So since then, I've come to, I guess, my position now as operations manager, so just overseeing everything day to day, interacting with our customers for the most part, both down in the States and Canada. And yeah, it's a position with many hats, just as Brian, you wear as well. We kind of do everything.
Yeah, it's really interesting in how we've transitioned over the last 4 years. You coming on and certainly coming on as a real partner in the business for sure, and it's been really super beneficial. And I think at some point, Keelan, we should actually maybe not today, but talk about that and what that means in terms of a meaningful partnership and relationship. So maybe that's another podcast for another time. So
For sure.
yeah.
So today, though, we wanted to talk about kind of our whole ethos with Rain Gear Pro. And what prompted this conversation that we had earlier this week was a customer left a review on our website regarding our rain gear and said this is the best rain gear he's ever tried and worn. He had purchased, I want to say, 3 or 4 years back, but was not pleased with where the price is at nowadays. And it has increased over the last 3 years. And so that kind of prompted you and I talking about price and how we can serve our customers and really the background of Rain Gear Pro on why the price is where it's at right now, the craftsmanship, the durability, and any product that we put out and sell to our customers, it has to pass a couple different tests. So, Brian, you want to just kind of go into the basics of what we stand for?
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, First of all, every piece that Rain Gear Pro, not Rain Gear Pro, but certainly our manufacturer, when they put that together, and by the way, our manufacturer, as I shared a little bit earlier, is my brother and his family. Actually, his son-in-law now is running that company. But every piece is handmade. It's not made in a high production factory. It's handmade and it's handcrafted. Let's just use those words. And it's crafted with care. The quality control that goes into each one of the units is bar none the best. And the reason why, I first looked at this and I said, there's got to be something. There's a reason why people want to buy the kind of gear that we produce. And I shared with you yesterday, Keelan. I says, a little saying. Well, if you don't care about, the quality or functionality, and all you care about is the price, then Ring Gear Pro is not your product, because we actually care about the product that's produced, and we care about the customers that purchase it because we want it to work and be functional. And the example that I used yesterday was, one of the things I used to do as well is I ran a charter business with my boat on the west coast of Vancouver Island. And so when I first started doing that, I thought, well, you're catching halibut, you're catching crab, you're catching prawns, you're catching salmon, you're catching all these things. So anyways, I looked at the price of the reels that we needed for halibut, and I go, well, gee whiz, this one's just about $400 or $500, but this one here is $125. And so anyways, I bought the $125. Looked the same, looked exactly the same as the other reels. And I go, well, what the heck can be the difference? And so we get out there, set the hooks down, and this huge halibut hits my line, bends the rod in half, and the reel, I had the tension tight so that the line wouldn't go out. It started peeling line out, and after peeling out, I'll say 30 or 40 yards, so quickly, the reel heated up and pretty much disintegrated inside. So then I thought, now I understand why you buy a more expensive reel if you actually are going to do something if you're going to be chartering, you want to make sure you've got the best that's going to last. And so that was my first experience of, why people look for gear that fits what you're doing. If you just go into a store and it looks the same, that doesn't mean that it works the same. You had some experience with that with some of your stuff. Maybe should tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm not working, as you know, I'm out in the mountains a lot. We're privileged to live and work in Vancouver, so we have access to the North Shore Mountains and then the interior of BC. And so on the weekends, I'm often camping and hiking. In that world, it can, it's a free hobby, but not so much because you have to buy the gear, and you can cheap out and buy cheap hiking boots. You can go to Canadian Tire, pay $150 for a pair of boots. That will last you a bit. But when you're doing hikes like I am, when you're going 50, 60 miles, you're depending on gear to stay comfortable. And so for me, I mean, my dad always stressed to me when we were buying things is just buy the right product once, and you don't have to worry about it. Buy one pair of boots once, and they're going to last you for years to come, rather than buying the cheaper gear. And that bleeds into what we stand for and what we put out. If you want to just talk about rain jackets, you can go to any outdoor store, any workwear store, and you can buy a really cheap rain jacket that's going to keep you dry for a bit. But we know from experience and through our customers' experience, it ends up leaking, or it ends up ripping, ends up lasting a couple months depending on what kind of job you're doing. So for us, I mean, the craftsmanship and the durability of our products is the utmost important to us.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, so and right along those lines, Kim, is that I think we put out a YouTube video on this, but it was to do with the durability of the product. And we had a number of our customers who, when you go out into the bush and you're going out, miles into the bush and you're soaking wet, or the product has failed somehow. In other words, you've caught it on a branch and it rips. Well, you're a long ways out. And so the nice thing about what I think what we do and what we provide is a product that is very specific to the functionality of the jobs that people are undertaking. So, you said about the hiking boots and going to Canadian Tire and buying hiking boots that kind of look the same. Well, the same with rain gear or saw pants, but rain gear specifically, let's talk about that. The biggest complaint that we had, or people were sharing with us, their pain points, was the product ripping. And so, when my brother first identified the materials that that he wanted to use for the rain gear, he wanted to make sure that he heard what people were saying. People meaning his customers. And so people that are in construction, people that are out in the bush with forestry, people who are on fishing boats, people, folks that actually need the gear to be comfortable and happy doing the jobs that they're doing. So that was the first thing, is what does that material need to look like? So on that YouTube video, I don't know if you remember this, Keelan, I took a pair of scissors and I cut the material, and it's a high tenacity nylon. And then I tried to rip it. Now you can't rip that material. So the durability of and the cost of that material, by the way, is 4 times more expensive than anything you can buy. So we make sure that the quality of the product of the materials that we use are top notch. And really, nobody uses those materials because they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Right? And that kind of comes into the pricing point of things. One, when you handcraft a product, and it's made by hand with machines. Yes, for sure, you cut it and maybe cut 10 at a time or whatever. But handcrafted is very different than putting it through a mass production. The second thing, the materials themselves and what you use. I remember a few years back, I had bought this yellow, really nice looking rain suit because I wanted to test it to see what it looked like against ours. And you remember I took a pencil, I put a little hole in the thing, and then I went like this. It looked beautiful until I ripped it in half, and all it did was take it just like this, pull it apart. So, what that really says is, when we're putting together the product and it's handcrafted, what we're really thinking about are the people that are going to use it. So our customers really are part of our, I'll say, the Rain Gear Pro family, because we know that when we're getting that product into their hands and they're going out in the bush, it's not going to fail them. It's there to protect them. It's there to keep them safe, whether they're using our saw pants with our Kevlar pads or whether they're using the various types of 3 different types of rain gear that we produce. So that's really critical, I think. What's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, you made a couple interesting points. I think what's kind of neat is when your family started producing rain gear, it really was just for the forestry industry, because that's where your brother and his wife were working, was in the forestry industry. But now we have customers that are flaggers, that are iron workers, geologists. It's expanded because they all share one common thing. They're outside and they're depending on their gear to work. And so when we're bringing out new products, as we just launched that black jacket back in October, which was, a resounding success, which is pretty neat for us. That's always in the top of mind, is creating a product that's going to last, not for 1 season, not for 2 seasons. We want you to buy a jacket or a pant from us that you're going to come back years down the road and say, hey, it finally is starting to give. That's something that we're proud of. And I think that's remained true to what your brother started when he started producing these jackets, is that he wanted to be proud of the product that he created, and we've kept that going all these years later.
Yeah, the other thing too, Keelan, I was just going to add to that, because we talk about the product and getting the product in people's hands. We talked about the quality of that, but the other thing that I'm really proud of for what we do, when people call Rain Gear Pro, they're getting you on the line or they're getting me on the line. You're talking to a live person. You have a question, we're there to answer it. And it's not like we're there, call between 3 and 4 and you get us. It's like 24/7, because we do care about the people that are reaching out. And a lot of times it has to do with sizing. So we try to do as much as we can as far as putting information on the website. But sometimes people want to just ask the questions, and we want to make sure we're available. So we're in touch with our clients, and you are. I mean, you're fantastic with that. The other thing that's really cool is that we've got, and I think we're starting this up as well, where we want to profile our family of people that use our product, and to be able to bring profile to what they do and sort of the work that they do. and really not to talk specifically about Rain Gear Pro, but also to give the profile to what they're doing to help them in their businesses and maybe expand their businesses. So we're just we're more than just a provider of rain gear. We care about the people that we sell to. We care about ensuring that we're in constant communication. Keelan, you're always calling people to say, "Hey, what did you think about it? How you liking it? Is it performing the way that you thought?" And I think that's called caring. And I don't know if there's a lot of companies that actually do that. So
There's not, and as we grow, that remains dear to both of our heart. Is that we're a family-run business at the end of the day. So when customers actually call us, they're not getting a robot or they're not getting someone overseas. Chances are you're actually going to talk to me or Brian. That's the reality. And if we don't answer, we'll call you back. And I think that's been fundamental to our growth. It's pretty neat when I can call a customer if they have a question on sizing, or if I think, say they ordered a double XL. We know our gear tends to fit a bit larger, and I call them. To hear the surprise in their voice that the company is actually calling them is really neat, because it just doesn't happen nowadays. Like, that does not happen.
no, no. I think really at the bottom line of where we're going with all of that is, you know, what you see is not always what you're buying. And so, if you're, I know that anything that I do as an example, so skiing as an example, right? If I'm going to go buy some skis, I want to make sure that what I'm buying is something that is functionally going to work for me. Now, there's all levels of skis. There's skis that cost $100, and there's skis that cost $1,000. Well, knowing how I shop and knowing that, functionally I started skiing when I was 3 or 4. I need something that's gonna be able to stand up and to be able to, at high speeds. And I know at this age I still go at high speeds, yes, but harnesses and bindings that are going to release when I need them to release, to be able to trust in the gear that I'm using. It goes from skiing. It goes to any sports that I play. It goes to, as I said, the fishing of what I'm doing, and for you, all that sort of stuff. So, I guess what I'm saying is look past the price. Look at the people that are using the gear. Listen to what they've got to say. I mean, they're telling the truth, and that's who we are. So it's not. Yes, price can be important, but at the end of the day, if you're replacing stuff every year because it's breaking down, in the long run, it's called, I don't know, cost per wear or something like that.
Yeah.
I had a guy that I ran into here where we live in Tawas, and old guy like me, and stopped him. I go, look at that jacket. I go, man, is that one of those hurricane jackets? He goes, yeah. I says, how long you had it? He says, 18 years, and she's still going strong. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, to wrap this up, you and I are going to make an effort, and you will every week, kind of just have a quick chat, because we're talking every day anyways. We thought we'd put this out there. And then I just wanted to touch on what you said before, is we are going to be having conversations with our customers, which we're both excited about, because as I mentioned before, we're not just forestry. We're in the mining. We're serving mining customers. We're serving construction companies, government, across Canada and across the state. So I'm pretty excited to hear more from our customers and share that with our audience.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be exciting.
Okay, well, we'll sign off for now, but we'll get this our first chat up, and we'll see you all next week.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.